Hello, mate.
Hi.
Welcome back to Making Video Your Business.
Thank you. Always
someone
crashing.
in the background.
Uh,
Yeah, there's Nick making noise. So today, I would like to talk to you.
I want to talk to you as well.
Oh, thanks, babe. About gear,
All right.
and specifically, an oldie but a goodie.
I literally don't know what's coming here.
Tripods. I know. Big question.
It is.
It sounds like a really straightforward question, right? It sounds like a really straightforward
so
question.
not straightforward.
But it's not a straightforward question. So the reason I say, right, is because
Tripods are a minefield.
Because, right, they are. Right.
They shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be a minefield. But, right, the reason why I wanted to talk about tripods is because we've had a long career in making video people's business, right? And we have had wildly differing results from tripods. I've got a very funny tripod story. One of my favorite tripod stories.
I'm thinking of tripod stories now.
Is my colleague Nick, who's behind the cameras, and he hates this story because it makes him look silly, and it's brilliant because it's the only time he's really looked silly ever. When we went on a job and he forgot to pack tripods.
I remember the phone call.
So we had to go and buy some in a local Curry's. And they were awful. They were absolutely awful.
They were budget.
The mistakes are so few that this story I love because it's about the only stick I could beat him with in like 10 years. So he's brilliant.
Sure, he forgot a memory card. As well.
Yeah. So, but tripods, right? The reason I'm talking about them is because every video you see now is like speed tour, run around, gimbal here, iPhone stabilizer that, like, you know, all this stuff. Is there still a place for tripods? How important are they?
So important. Like when I first started learning film, the tripod was so key. People don't like looking at wobbly shots. You're not wobbling while I'm looking at you right now.
I can.
Yeah, but I wouldn't look at you for long because
Yeah.
you're wobbling too much.
Yeah.
Look at the news. They use tripods. Imagine if they went handheld with the news, like Charlene at 10 p.m. You'd be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a steady shot. It's how our eyes work. It's how humans interact. We sit down. We generally sit quite still.
I think it's key. You know, people, oh, you know, I've got a stabilizer in my phone. I don't need a tripod, or I've got a gimbal, whatever. But a lot of video stuff that I see now it's so much going on. Like speed tours, you're almost like, you know, I can't even like focus on what's going on. You know, the stuff, and also bad use. I see so much bad use of Steadicam and gimbal and stuff where it's just like, why is it moving so fast? And like the change, like what you're trying to get over to your viewer here.
Yeah, and I think what some people, maybe untrained people, are doing, and it's not there's certain bits of kit or gear for certain situations. Now, I'd always say if you're doing an intro to camera to any kind of video, static, or not every single 100% of the time, but let the person meet you. It's normal. Your name might come up on the screen. You got a logo in the corner, but it's a steady shot. It's nice. And then go to your gimbal, and then go to your handheld, then go to your this, that, and the other. But
mix it up
a little bit. Keep the viewer engaged and interested. But like you say, it starts with a gimbal, then it whizzes around with a gimbal, and then it cuts to something else like a drone, and then all of a sudden you're not quite sure where you are in the property or where you are in this video you're watching, and you're like, okay, right. So
I think it's about mix. I think the key thing for me is as well that I just feel like it's become an almost undervalued bit of gear, and for us, it's like the most important thing. Right, I just feel like it's the most important bit of equipment after your camera. Tripod's the next most important.
It is. I mean, I used to, you know, I still do actually, but the monopod, used to be a fan of the monopod.
I love a monopod.
Yeah, and that was for ease and speed and efficiency.
Speed,
yeah, rather than, and then like I get the Mickey taken out of me because I've got an amazing
janky.
Old school. No, it's not janky.
It's
an
janky.
amazing
doesn't
metal framed.
The leg doesn't stay up.
You just tighten it. It's just a bit of MOT, a bit of maintenance. Whereas we spent double bubble money on those Manfrottos a while back last year,
right.
And they are janky. They broke twice.
What should people be spending on tripods, and does it vary?
Yeah, I mean, what are you filming with first? Because if it's your phone, then you only need a a lightweight
lightweight
tripod
yeah.
because you haven't got a heavy body or a heavy lens camera gear on the tripod. I mean, but then
saying that, like we've bought tripods. We used to use Benro, who great manufacturer, and we had a one, and I had a camera on one at an event, and it blew over.
Yes, but then we used to have a bit of string with a rice bag.
A bag, yeah. But it was a sandbag, yeah, underneath, yeah.
And that's a little life hack. But yeah, so the more you spend, I mean, I remember seeing Gordon Buchanan on the BBC Wildlife Cameraman, and I remember texting you one night because you had this really cool looking tripod.
Was it a Miller?
Yeah, in the middle of the jungle, and it was like 8.5 grams ex VAT. And I was like, sorry, what?
With no ball head.
You had to buy extra bits for it. And I was like, wow, I've never even seen a tripod that expensive.
No, my mate James in Thailand's got a Miller, and it's got like a sling underneath it where he could put all his stuff, whatever. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, it's all carbon fiber. I was like, cool. It's as much as like the carbon fiber bikes that people like buy. They're like $5,000 or something. I'm like, for legs, basically.
As usual, when you look into anything, or you're looking to get into anything, you can buy a cheap set of golf clubs just to get practice in.
Or a car.
Yeah. And most people do buy a cheap car. They don't go straight in and buy a Lambo age 17 or whatever. Like, again, it goes back to what we were talking about in the previous episode about not seeing it as a cost because you're going to be making video for the next 10 years in your business.
Yeah.
Then buy something that's worth £100 or that costs £200.
I think you can get a lot around that price tag. I feel like there's a lot for intermediate camera makers. I mean, your janky tripod, God knows how much you spent on that, probably 50 quid or something.
Whoa.
But joking apart, I've
not broke in 10 plus years.
Yeah, I've bought some pretty good units from people like Manfrotto or even from Benro, whatever. They're quite good. You can buy quite a lot for about 100 quid.
Yeah.
And get something that's robust, stable, that's not going to break on you, that's going to be pretty good and also compact, because you have to think about that as well. Like
if you're taking it out, you're going to interview a customer, or you're going to,
It wants to look proper as well. Like you don't want to go out to, I mean, different for us, but even if you're going out and doing a community interview, say to promote your business, you want to churn up with some gear that actually looks like, what you do. And you can spend like a couple of £100 on a tripod, a couple of like flat LED panel lights, whatever. Use Newer. They're great. They're an American company. They make sort of quality bits of sort of professional grade, but for consumer price.
They really are
good. You can get them on Amazon stuff.
Yeah.
But a couple of panel lights and a tripod, spend a couple £100. But when you go and set up, people are like, oh yeah, geez, this is proper.
Yeah.
This is really good. But I reckon you could get quite a lot for around 100 quid. I would probably encourage people to stay away from anything sub 70 quid.
Yeah, because
they're just, I don't think they'll get the longevity out.
No, I mean, I was going to say at the start of this chat, like buy cheap, buy twice type.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not always true, but no offense, but if you're buying something online to start with, like you don't know what the build quality is like. It's not tangible. You can't see it. You can't feel it. Maybe it's from a company you've bought for before and they're pre-qualified, but with something like a tripod, you really want it to be quite weighty. You want it to be portable, small enough you can pop it in the boot of the car if you're going out somewhere and you don't have to, buy a separate bag for it.
Although you can get some very nice bags.
You can get some really nice bags. I mean, look, long and short of it is you can take your phone and rest it against a mug and film yourself and it'll stay steady.
Yeah.
Like now, that's not a great look if you're, sort of going out into the community to do the video stuff, but then you work up from there. You're like, okay, well that worked and I've made a video now, so maybe I'll start looking at this investment thing that we're talking about and say, okay, yeah, maybe the business should invest £500 in some lighting, some microphones and some tripods.
Yeah, well, we're talking about microphones in another episode. I've got that in my locker to ask you.
Sound.
Nice. Sound. yeah.
Listen, you can spend a lot. Don't go and spend £8,000 on a Miller one to start with, because you might not be filming in a year's time.
That is my dream.
Yeah,
to be
but would we ever need, even us? Would we ever need that?
I don't know. I mean, it would be great, but we've got some great stuff, but we've got some great bits of gear. But I don't know that it's necessary. I think so. Give me your top three tips. Top three tips for tripods.
If you can, go and touch and feel and have a play with one.
Yeah.
And say, is this lightweight? Is this going to last? Like you can normally get that. Number two, spend some money. Like look at spending 100 quid And don't view it as a cost, view it as an investment, because you're going to be using it for the next 5 years, 10 years. Because once you're into video, keep
If
making
you get
it.
a good one, it will last.
It will last you. And number 3, is there a third top tip for a tripod?
Use one. That's mine.
That's the top
That's
tip.
my top tip. Use one.
Okay.
It's not old hat.
Yeah.
Use a tripod.
Yeah, stop trying to be too cool.
Use one. Because do you know what? So many people aren't. Now your stuff will look different because you are.
And also, top tip number 4.
4?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can press record, retreat back to your X marks the spot position, and you can make a video yourself.
Thanks, mate.
No, thanks you, mate.
Thanks you.
No, thanks. Till next time.
See you, mate.